You're listening to Backlog Banter with your host, SerialK86.
Hello, greetings, and privyet everyone to another episode of Backlog Banter. I'm your host SerialK, and we haven't recorded anything during the month of August. That's because I had some problem with my PC. Some programs weren't working properly, and had to upgrade my operating system. For like 2015, 16? Yeah, I was stuck with Windows 8.1, and then I finally upgraded to Windows 10. Which means I also had to, upgrade my editing software. I was using Sony Vegas 13 for like 2015, 2016 also, and I recently upgraded to Magic 17. Now, Magic 17 isn't too different from the other Vegas software programs, but I also had to use updated versions of some plugins. But I don't want to ramble too much. I had to also install some new programs, stuff like that. Anyway, lots of stuff happened to my PC and also on the gaming side, there wasn't that much games that I had on my plate to discuss for the podcast. So yeah, I had to keep the podcast on hold for a while until tonight. So yeah, I rambled too much. So let's get to our guest. Okay, so I'm gonna let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm a guy that loves pooping. I make YouTube poops where SpongeBob says bad words.
Yes. Yes.
And I also do YTPMVs.
Yeah, he does that. Yes, he does that too. Oh, you also used to host a podcast with your brother Jimmy Davis, who's also a big YTPer.
Kind of. I mean, let me have a look here. When was our last episode? It was a while ago. It says a year ago. No, it was 2018. We haven't done an episode since 2018, so it's been a while.
Almost 2 years then.
Yeah, we want to bring it back. We don't know when that'll happen though.
Oh, and
so it could happen. Who knows?
Oh, and remind me what was it about? YTPs and stuff like that?
The podcast we would interview.
Oh.
Two poopers. That was the concept of it. We did a few episodes without a guest, but those were pretty rare.
Oh, okay. So it's in general about YouTube poop. Okay, the community in general.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You know, that kind of reminds me of a pilot that the Things made many years ago, where he interviewed two YTPers. The first one was Noise Puppet, and the other one was Vista Middle. He did interviews with them. It was a neat idea, but it's kind of sucks that it went nowhere after like 2 episodes. I think it's on her second channel right now.
I don't think I ever saw that. I might have to check that out.
Yeah.
When was that?
Oh, many years ago. I don't know. What specific year, but yeah, it was many years ago. But I think the Noise Puppet one is the most interesting.
Are they still up, or did she take them down?
I think they're still up. I haven't checked really. Maybe you should check it out. It's on her second channel, obviously.
Right. Yeah, might do that later.
So enough talking about YouTube poop. Let's talk about video games. So I'm gonna start first because there's not much to talk about for my pick. For my pick, I'm gonna go with For my pick, I'm gonna go with Mega Man 6 for the NES. Now I was gonna go with the Mega Man. I was gonna go with Mega Man 3, 4, or 5, but we're gonna talk about them, you know, in summary, in quick. You know, talk a little bit about what they introduced and whatnot. But yeah, this is gonna be mostly about Mega Man 6. So it was released originally on the NES in 1993 by published and developed by Capcom in 1993. And the story tries to be a story, you know, for an NES game. It tries a little bit to be a little original for a classic Mega Man game. So it's about in the year 20X. The story is about someone deciding, a mysterious person named Mr. X decided to host a tournament, a fighting tournament for robots. So 8 robots from around the world have gathered for this tournament. But then Mr. X, the sponsor of this tournament, hijacked and reprogrammed the robots to do his bidding. And so Mega Man, to do his bidding to take over the world. And so Mega Man goes after him to stop him from taking over the world. And there's also the part about him being the real boss of Dr. Wily and stuff like that. But yeah. If you've seen his character art, you know exactly who he is. So I think it was it was their way of, you know, because it also plays in how they pat the levels after the master robots. But okay, so let's talk about how the game works. So Mega Man 6 is pretty much like any other classic Mega Man games. You fight 8 robot masters in any order you like, and you go for a level from point A to point B, where you go into gauntlets of enemies. It's you know, pretty much an 8-bit side scroller with enemies on your way. And at the end of the level, you fight the boss, which is the robot master. Now if you've played a classic Mega Man game, you pretty much know how this goes. Every robot has a weakness, a special weapon that you can use that is weak to. Every robot is weak to every robot master is weak to a certain weapon, which you get from other robot masters. In which every Mega Man game has that. There's an element of rock, paper, scissors to it. Each robot master you defeat, he gives you a special weapon, and the special weapon can not only helps you on other levels, but also it can be effective on other robot masters. So yeah, and if there's anything that Mega Man 6 has introduced, for the other equipments, the adapters that Mega Man gets, there's 2 new ones. The Rush Jet, the Rush Jet and the Rush Power, I think something called, I guess. But the original about them is rather than Rush, who was introduced in Mega Man 3, rather than, you know, transforming into a board for the jet, a jet board for the jet, he combines with Mega Man, in which Mega Man transforms into Jet Mega Man, in which he can hover with a special. We can hover around the level for a little bit, but it's quite helpful. Like it has a limited special meter, but it can be helpful traversing some jumps and long jumps. And the other one is called the Rush Power, or the Rush, something like that, in which Mega Man gets powerful punches. That one can help break some blocks and some levels, which either hide goodies or special paths. There's also in Mega Man 6. There's also what is it called? Alternate routes, in which if you take you unlock one of 4 letters that spells beat. If you get all 4 letters, it's in some Robot Masters. If you get 4 of the Robot Master levels, if you get all 4 different routes and you spell the 4 letters beat, you unlock Beat, who's a robot bird that assists Mega Man. He was introduced in Mega Man 5. It's like, yeah, like I said, a robot bird who helps you attack some enemies and Robot Masters. So starting from, so like I said, graphically it's pretty much the best looking. Mega Man 6 is pretty much the best looking Mega Man game on the NES. I mean, it was released, like I said, it was released in 1993, so they pretty much, it was the tail end of the NES and the NES life cycle. I mean, the SNES was already out like three years before that, so they pretty much mastered everything when it comes to graphical fidelity and stuff like that. So yeah, if you look like, for example, a game like Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 3, the backgrounds aren't as detailed as in like the later Mega Man games like 5 or 6. I mean, they obviously mastered the consoles, the system's graphical capabilities by this point. The soundtrack, I'd say it's an attempt. It's a little catchier than, because I think for the soundtrack, I think it's a little catchier than I think 5 and 6 tries to be catchy compared to 3 and 4, because I think 3 and 4 were the soundtrack for 3 and 4 are pretty much forgettable. There's not many tracks, in my opinion, that sticks out. Obviously, the king when it comes the most memorable soundtracks will always be, to me personally, the ones from Mega Man 1 and 2. These are always my gotta be my favorite tracks. That's my favorite tracks from the series. Yeah, Mega Man 1 and 2, obviously.
Yeah, Mega Man 2 had really good music.
Yeah, 3, yeah, 3, okay, a little bit. 4 and 5, okay, 4 is forgettable. 5, kind of. 6 is like, okay, they're attempting. This is an attempt for making it a little catchy and more varied, you know, compared to the previous Mega Man games. But okay, this is about the soundtrack. So yeah, it's all right. For how the levels after the Wily and Mr. X levels, I'd say they're probably one of the easier final levels in the game in the classic series. Obviously, there's a little spikes, bits with spikes here and there, but for the most part, I'd say 6 probably has the easiest bosses. The Robot Masters, okay, maybe, but for the final bosses, they're a little easier, especially if you're full of E-tanks and Robot Master abilities. If they all charged up and you also use them wisely, yeah, it's not gonna be that much of a hassle. I'd say 5 and 4. The one that's a little hard, but yeah, 6 is a little bit of an easy ride in comparison. Some even argue that 6 is probably the easiest of the classic Mega Man games. But personally, I think it's a little bit on 2, because you know 2 introduced difficulty settings, which I think they removed after that, because I think after that for 3 until 6, the North American version always had versions always had easier difficulty compared to the Japanese difficulty for the other NES games. But you know, don't quote me on it, but I think that's what they're doing. That's what they did for the North American releases of the classic Mega Man games from between 3 and 6. So
Yeah. I'm not sure on that, but I'll take your word for it.
okay. So yeah, I think also this I think I've heard somewhere that around starting from Mega Man 2, the game developers have allowed the Robot Masters to be designed by fans, and 6 is the first one that allowed fans from North America to design a few Robot Masters. I think it was among them were Nightman and not Tomahawk Man. Nightman and Centaur Man, who I think they're designed by North American fans. Okay, let's see. There's what Robot Masters? There's Tomahawk Man, Yamato Man, Nightman, Centaur Man, Blizzard Man. What else? Flame Man, and two others. Oh, Plant Man and. Okay, there's the one that's skipping my mind right now. Anyway, when it comes to their special weapons, they're not that different from other games. I think the only useful ones are from Blizzard Man's attack. What's the other one? No, Flame Man is not that useful. When it comes to themes and when it comes to special weapons, you know, you can say by Mega Man 3, by Mega Man 3 and 4, they pretty much start recycling the ideas for the special weapons. You know, not that much difference. Like Skullman, you know, Skullman, which is from I think Mega Man 3 or 4. His ability is not that different from like Plant Man from Mega Man 6. Or Leaf Man from Mega Man 2. Yeah, Plant Man is not that different. It's pretty much like Leaf Man's special weapon, Skull Man. Oh yeah, probably failed to mention. Around Mega Man, was it 3? No, 4. Around Mega Man 4, the series introduced was a new ability for Mega Man, a default ability for Mega Man, which is the Charge Shot, in which you hold the shoot button. When you hold it, Mega Man charges a shot. When you release it, he shoots a powerful Mega Buster shot. They kept this for 5 and 6 as well. And what else? Oh yeah, there's also the slide ability, which is the slide ability in which if you hold down while going to a lower path, a narrow path, Mega Man slides into this narrow path. It can be also useful against fighting some robot masters, dodging them and stuff like that. They introduced that ability in Mega Man 3, and they kept it ever since from the classic series, from Mega Man 4, 5, and 6. I mean, these special abilities, I think they're the only good things that came. I think these are the only good. I think the charge shots and the slide abilities, I think these are the best thing that came out of the Mega Man games after 1 and 2. And obviously an extension of Mega Man's movement. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mega Man 9 and 10 removed them? Because they wanted...
so.
Yeah, I think because they wanted to... They wanted to go back to this style of Mega Man 2, you know, for the old school fans and stuff like that. I don't know. Because
Mega Man 9 is basically Mega Man 2 too, from what I can tell.
Yeah, with the little spike difficulty, because I think I've only played the demo of 9 like many years ago, but yeah, I don't remember there was a sliding ability or shot and these in Mega Man 9. Have you played 10 before?
Let's see, 9 was the 9 and 10 were the later ones, right? I played the demo for one of them. I actually have them on Switch. I haven't played them. I've only actually finished 2. I played most of the first game and most of 3, but 2 is the only one I've actually finished. So.
I got the Legacy Collection, which is on modern consoles and PC, which got all the this Volume 1 and Volume 2. Volume 1 got all the NES games from 1 to 6. So I pretty much played all the Mega Man games from 1 to 6. This year, probably the first time I finished any of them, because like I said in a previous episode, I've played the majority of 1 before I gave up on it after the Yellow Devil boss fight, because that boss fight was BS, total BS.
I don't remember if I got there, but I do know I played up to the final level, and I forget what it was. There's like, I want to say there's like an ability that you can miss that you need to get in order to beat the game.
Yeah, I think it's in Elec.
And I didn't get that.
Yes, I think it's an Elec Man stage, like a rod or something. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, you're gonna need it for the final level, for the final Wily levels, because there's a bit you can't pass without that ability.
Yeah, I got to that point, and then since I couldn't progress, I just skipped to 2. And
I can't blame you.
Then I actually finished that game.
Yeah, many people.
I didn't.
Yeah, I know many who played 1 but never beaten it, and so they switched to 2 and beaten that one. Yeah, 2 is a lot more. Like I've said before, 2 is a lot more accessible compared to the previous game. They obviously learned they've learned a lot from that in the first game, and mistakes were made and they fixed it in 2, which is why it's a lot more refined and accessible and fun compared to the first game. For Mega Man 3, they introduced Rush as a companion. He's not that different from Item 1 and Item 2, but just has but with a personality. That's about it. It's pretty much the Item 1 and 2 and 3. Yeah, he's pretty much the Item 1 and 2, but as a robot dog. They also character-wise, they also introduced.
I think I played about half of 3.
Yeah, they also introduced Proto Man, who will become a recruiting character in the classic series after that. Like I said, they introduced the charge shot and 3 also they introduced sliding. Okay, like I said, 3 introduced sliding. 4 introduced the charge shot. 5 they introduced beat. It was another like I said. And yeah, in general, I'd say the classic Mega Man games that I enjoyed were 1 was flawed, but there's enjoyment in it. 2 obviously is the best. 3 is great if the final levels were a bit annoying, because after you beat all the Robot Masters, you unlock what is called the Duck Robot levels. Basically, special robots that are in harder levels of previous Robot Masters, who uses the abilities of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. And so the problem is having to figure out which for Mega Man 3. For Mega Man 3, the Duck Robot Masters, they use the abilities of the Robot Masters from Mega Man 2. The problem is having to figure out which Robot Master ability from Mega Man 3 that works on these Duck robots. And the problem is also they hit you like a truck, so that you lose a lot of hit points when they hit you. So not only the levels you fight them are incredibly hard, the bosses are, they really crank up the difficulty for this one. So I think 3 had in my opinion, the worst final levels before fighting Dr. Wily himself. 4 is, forgettable. 5, I think I'd say my favorite are 1 and 2, half of 3, 5 and 6. But yeah, the problem with the Mega Man, with the classic Mega Man games, they're samey. I really don't recommend playing them in one sitting, and then like back to back. I mean, it's best to play like 1 to 3, maybe like say 4 to 6 in like a couple months. But yeah, obviously, Capcom was obviously asking the was obviously demanding that the development team make a Mega Man game every year up until 1993, where like the NES was pretty much irrelevant at this point. If they made like 3 or 4 games, that would have been enough. But obviously, I'd say Capcom obviously was demanding that they make more Mega Man games, and the development team obviously, you know, for every Mega Man game they were starting to, I'd say they're starting to run out of ideas for the special abilities and stuff like that. So if they only made like the 3 or 4 classic Mega Man games, that would have been enough. 6 obviously is, I'd say around 4 or 5 is where they start running out of ideas for the games. So
yeah, I mean, when you release a new game and it's series every year, you're gonna start to run dry on ideas eventually.
Yeah, that's why I think of I'd say 3 games obviously is enough for a platformer or any game series in general to start introducing gameplay elements without running out of ideas. Like Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. They're only 3 games in the classic series, so they didn't. And then when they started, when they made 4, when they went to their 4 entries, obviously can blame the change in the development teams. But if you see Crash and Spyro for the 4th entries, they really ran out of ideas. There weren't anything. There were barely anything original when it comes to new gameplay ideas and stuff like that. So I'd say the gold standard.
I still thought they were good, but
okay, maybe Wrath of Cortex, but for Legend of the Dragonfly, Enter the Dragonfly, oh, that game was a mess.
I thought Enter the Dragonfly was the 5th one.
No, 4th one. The 5th one was The 5th one was The Hero's Tale.
Oh, never mind. That's what I was thinking. That one I thought was good.
Yeah, more or less. It's pretty much the
I never.
Have you played any Spyro game before?
You cut out. I didn't hear what you said.
Have you played any of the previous Spyro games before?
I have Reignited Trilogy on PC, and I finished the first game and played about half of 2.
Oh, okay.
Didn't finish it, so I didn't grow up with them though. I grew up playing A Hero's Tale, so that might be blinding my opinion on it a little bit. My nostalgia might be blinding me on that one, but I remember it being good. So
I played a little bit of it, but after that, I like, nah, I can't find myself playing any more of it. But maybe if I give it a chance in the near future. But anyway, back to Mega Man. Like I said, I think the game really the development was, they're really stretched. What's the word? Stretched thin. The ideas were, you know, they're really grasping at straws when it comes to new gameplay ideas and themes for the Robot Masters, and when it comes to stories about how many times Dr. Wily create 8 original ideas for Dr. Wily to try to take over the world with Robot Masters and stuff like that. So like I said, if they stuck for like 3 or 4 games, that would have been enough. But 6, they're obviously running out of ideas, and I don't know how the series continued after that. Like, I've yet to play any of the other classic Mega Man games, 7 and to 10, but I'll look forward to see how they try to reinvent the wheel or come up with new ideas when it comes to gameplay and stuff like that.
Played Mega Man 11. I thought 11 was pretty good.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard the 11 is actually pretty good. I'm looking forward to playing it one day. But
Yeah,
that's
that's a little ways away, but
yeah. I'm gonna have to check the previous case first. But yeah, in general, I think if you've played, my recommendation, if you really want to get into any Mega Man game, start on Mega Man 2, play 1, maybe 3, maybe after that, and then if you like, you can go for 4 to 6 if you want more of the same, pretty much. But yeah, that's about it when it comes to Mega Man, to classic Mega Man. I'm still looking forward to playing Mega Man 7 to 10. To 11, but that would be a different discussion for a different day. But yeah, that's about it for the my thoughts on the NES developed Mega Man games after Mega Man 1 and 2. You've yet to play any of them, right?
I like I said, I played through most of Mega Man 1. I finished Mega Man 2, and then played about half of 3, and that's it for the NES games. And in terms of the series after that, I've played a little bit of Mega Man X, Mega Man 8, and I played through most of 11.
Oh, I have to ask. I've never played any of the X games, but how's from what little you've played? How's the X games are any different from the classic Mega Man games?
Like in terms of gameplay, or
Yeah.
in terms of gameplay, it's not too different. It's still a Mega Man game, but the only thing that immediately jumps to mind is the wall jumping mechanic, which I don't think was ever in any of the classics.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a classic game that has that ability.
So that's the only ability that comes to mind. But I also didn't finish Mega Man X. I think I played like 3 stages.
And I think
it was good from what I played.
Yeah, I think also from what I've seen, because I've never played any of the classic games, but from what I've seen, I think the later entries introduced has more exploration elements for goodies and stuff like that. I mean, obviously the classic games have it, but in small bits here and there. But the X games is where they really expand upon the idea of level exploration. I mean, it's not Metroidvania, but there's a lot of levels that has multiple paths in which you get goodies or hidden abilities and stuff like that. That's more emphasized than the X games. And I believe also the X games introduced more gameplay styles with the character like Zero and stuff like that. I think around X3. Yeah, maybe if once I'm done with the classic series, I might give the X series a chance one day. I mean, they're pretty much on a collection, like on a special they on special compilations published by Capcom, so it won't be too hard to look them up and try them one day. But yeah, I might give the X series a chance. See what's good and what's bad, because I want to give the classics a chance.
I think I've heard from some people.
Yeah.
I think I've heard from some people that they prefer the X series over the classics. I don't know if that's a super common opinion, but I think I've heard it before. So.
I'm not sure about that. I think many people prefer the classics, but it's mostly nostalgia talking. I mean, don't get me wrong, X is popular. The X series
Like
is
I said, I
popular.
don't know.
The X series are popular, but compared to the classics, I think they're the most iconic. I heard from the X series is that 1 and 2 are good, 3 is mixed, 4, the memes aside, is pretty good. 5 is like a little step down, 6 is terrible. Same with 7, 8's like... I think there's 8 games in the classic, the X series, right? I think so.
Can quick look it up. God, there are 8 of them. Yep.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the first 2 games were released on the SNES. The third game was released on the SNES and the Saturn, but also released for the PlayStation, an updated version. 4 was released, 4 was released on PlayStation, and also on, and the same with the 5 and 6, and also on the Sega Saturn, I think. And 7 and 8 were released on PlayStation 2, I guess. This is where the series after that stopped. So yeah, we've rambled too much about the X games. But yeah, like I said, if when it comes to the classic games, I think the first 3 or 4 games are the most interesting. If you want to play, if you want to play any of the classic games, like play 1 to 3, and probably save 4 to 6 for like a much different time, because when it comes to originality with level designs and stuff like that, they're not too different. Aside from like introduction of a couple abilities here and there, nothing groundbreaking, like except for like the abilities. But when it comes to themes for like robot masters and special weapons, they're not too different. Some of them can get annoying, some of them can get hard, but not that much ideas. Anyway, I rambled for too long about the classic games, and this is supposed to be mostly about Mega Man 6. But yeah, 6 is was really the I think 6 was pretty much, I'd say, they ended on a somewhat of a high note for classic games on the NES. Because after that, the series moved to other consoles like the SNES, the Saturn, the PlayStation, and other series, and other consoles. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the classic Mega Man games from 1 to 6. You've only played 1 and 2, but I'd say if you want to play any of the classic games, play 3 and save 4 to 6 for like a much separate, separate play sessions later, so you don't get fatigued from the series. Because I know some people, like Kiddicarus, played all 10 games back to back, and that's a terrible idea. Anyway, we've rambled too much. That's what I got. That's what I got when it comes to classic Mega Man games. But I had to play something. I had to play something that I can talk about for the podcast. And this, 6 is pretty much the game that that was suitable for the criteria of this show. Okay, so I think it's time to move on to your picks. Let's see what good games you got, because I'm pretty sure I played the games you're gonna talk about.
The games I played were Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2. So you have played them, correct?
Yes, I played them back to back and last year. Both by both developed by the Platinum Games and published by Sega. Although the second game was funded and produced by Nintendo. Interestingly enough. Yes.
Sega published the first game. I think they still had some involvement in the second game, but it was published by Nintendo exclusively for the Wii U and then later ported to the Switch.
Yes. Yes.
So, I played the PC version of the first game and the Switch version of the second game. So
Let's talk quickly about the first game.
that was how I play them. All right, so in terms of plot, I'm just gonna be brutally honest. I have no idea what the fuck was happening.
I can't blame you. Yeah, that story is a clusterfuck, and the set pieces are really over the top. There's like an order of witches who are called the Umbra Witches, who are hunted down by a group called the Lumen Sages, and you play as the last of the Umbra Witches, whose name is Bayonetta.
Yeah, so the plot was it was weird. It was like a weird mix of I was confused, and then there was also like stuff I saw coming from a mile away. If that makes any sense, it was like a mix of those. Like,
yeah, that's
certain things that were revealed later in the story I saw coming immediately, but then there's other things where I'm like, wait, what's even happening right now? But I didn't play the game for the story anyway, so I didn't really care too much that I was confused.
Yeah, if you're looking for a compelling or a focused story in a game like Bayonetta, yeah, don't bother too much, because it's about because
at least I can say
yeah.
I was gonna say at least I can say that I like the characters, so it was still entertaining to watch regardless.
Yeah, obviously. Like I said, well, it's about the two clans in Europe called the Lumen Sages and the Umbra Witches, and the Umbra Witches were hunted by the Lumen Sages to near extinction, and the game is set 500 years in the present day, in which Bayonetta has been in like in a coma or something, like that, and she wakes up and she has a partial amnesia or something like that, and she has to discover the origin of how the Lumen Sages hunted down, stuff like that. It's like I said, like I've mentioned, the story is a mess, but the set pieces are fun, and the character interactions are really entertaining. And yeah, this game is pretty much the first game, at least. That's the one that pretty much set Platinum Games, really launched Platinum Games to popularity.
Yeah, I believe it was their second game.
Yes, there's also
their first game was Mad World. Yeah. No, third game actually.
Yes.
The list now they had.
Yeah, I know there's Mad World, something like that, but obviously Bayonetta was the game that made them them a popular developer. Because after that there was a lot of games that came from. Like Kojima contacted them to make Metal Gear Rising, and then there was other games like. Also, Konami, no, Activision got them to make a couple more games. Some of them weren't so good, like the Korra game and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Those weren't so good, but others were actually compelling, like the Transformers Devastation game. That was actually pretty good. Standard Platinum Games hack and slash game.
Yeah, I heard that one was good. I haven't played it, but I heard it was good. So.
Oh yeah, it's fun. If you played a platinum style hack and slash game, that's pretty much it. But with the transforming abilities, with Transformers. And it's
on,
yeah.
Is it on PC or?
Yeah, yes, I believe it's on. Yeah, I believe it's on PC as well. If you go, it also has a lot of fan service for the Generation 1 of Transformers, for the 80s cartoon and stuff like that. They even got most of the original voice cast. Right. So yeah, if you grow up with the 80s Transformers cartoon, there's a lot of fan service. But even if you didn't, it's fun gameplay style when it comes to gameplay. Anyway, so back to Bayonetta. So like I said, it's a hack and slash game by Hideki Kamiya, who was the guy behind the first Devil May Cry game. And yeah, this game...
which explains a lot.
Yeah, obviously. But to be honest, Devil May Cry, at least the first one, was when it comes to themes and stuff like that. Sure, it was stylish, but it wasn't over the top like Bayonetta. It's a little subdued. But yeah, Bayonetta's were really the craziness cranked up to 11. Like really over the top. When it comes to character design, when it comes to character designs, to combat, to set pieces, to cutscenes, choreographed. Obviously, it's really up there. Which probably why what makes Platinum Games unique. What made them pretty much the kings of hack and slash games, up until recently. Because the in-house studio for the Devil May Cry games after that, they had to step their game up. With 3 and 4 and recently 5. Obviously they had to. Yeah, they had to. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I still need to get to that series as well. I played 5, and I still need to play the rest, but.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't quote me on it, but I believe the HD collection is available on PC, but it's also on all other consoles from 1 to 3, except 4. 4, I believe it's not on the Switch.
I actually.
Yeah.
I have the HD collection and 4 on Steam as well.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Haven't played them yet. I played a little bit of it, but I've never actually finished it. So I have a bad habit of that, I've noticed.
Oh yeah. I rarely drop a game. Personally. I mean, unless it's really boring or dull. I never do that. But that's me. I know a lot of people are like you, once they lose interest, they should move on to another game. So when it comes to Bayonetta, the gameplay is pretty much a hack and slash. Originally it was released in 2009 in Japan, but later in 2010 for other regions. It was released on originally 360 and the PS3. And many people say the PS3 is the worst version of the original Bayonetta, because not only it's running.
Yeah, that's always what I've heard.
Yeah, I've tried the demo, and yeah, it runs. Not only is it visually the worst looking, it's also running below 30, and it chugs really when it comes to frame rate.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bad.
Yeah, obvious.
What was the frame rate of the Xbox 360 version?
I think it was the 60 FPS. Because the PlayStation, the PlayStation 3 was infamous for being hard to develop compared to the 360.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, if you're gonna play if anyone want to play the original Bayonetta game, play any version except the PlayStation 3 version. Avoid that one in particular. Any other version, you're good. Whether it's PC, PS4, or or Wii U, Switch, these all are good.
I haven't played any version other than the PC version and Xbox 360 version briefly a few years back, so I can't confirm. But from what I've heard, just the PS3 version.
Yeah. Also, the combat is satisfying. The soundtrack is incredibly catchy. If you got anything about the first game that you didn't like?
Really, only one thing comes to mind is the quick time events. I wasn't a fan of those.
Yeah.
Especially since a lot of times I didn't see them coming, and then I would die. That would fuck up my ranking, and wasn't a big fan of that. Let's just say I saw a lot of stone awards throughout the first game.
Yeah, that's the problem with the first game. It has a lot of do or die quick time events that you don't see coming. You know, if you mess up, it's some of the, yeah, like I said, it's do or die. So if you mess up some of them, it's an instant game over, and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eventually learned to just don't put the controller down.
Nope. Don't
Keep it even during cutscenes because you don't need to.
I think, yeah,
I was very glad they away with those in 2.
Yeah, for when it comes to 2, yeah, they remedied that. QuickTime events are still available, but they're not, you know, instant. They're not, you know, do or die, or you know, suddenly, you know, without any, without any warnings or stuff like that. So
yeah, they were so frequent that when I started playing the second game, during one of the first cutscenes, I just instinctively tried to dodge during it, and then I realized, oh yeah, I don't have to do that.
yeah. So the first game was great. If it had if it had some issues. The weapons. There's any weapon in particular that you find yourself using more frequently?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even know how to switch weapons until late into the game, so.
Oh.
Because I had no idea how to bring up the menu. Just for some reason, it didn't click to try pressing select until later. I'm like, wait a minute. So, but once I figured that out, I used I forget what the sword weapon is called. Maybe it's just called the sword. I'm not sure, but I used that one quite frequently.
Oh, that.
I liked that one quite a bit.
The katana one, I think.
The katana, yeah. That was also my go-to in the second game as well.
Oh.
So.
I don't remember which weapons I had. Yeah, I think I also I used that too, but there's also other weapons that I messed with every once in a while. I think I also used the whip a lot.
Yeah.
The whip too. That was also fun to use.
I don't know if I ever actually equipped that one. I think I unlocked it, but I don't know if I ever tried it. So. But yeah, the katana was my go-to.
Yeah.
And I did try a couple other ones, but yeah.
I think that's about it for the first game. The second game, can we talk about the second game now? I think we gotta talk about it, right?
Yeah, sure. We can kind of go back and forth if there's something we wanted to mention about the first game that we remember later.
Oh no,
I guess.
that's okay. That's okay. So the second game was released in 2014 for the Nintendo. Originally for the Nintendo Wii U, before later released on the Nintendo Switch. And like I said,
that's the version that I played.
Yeah. I played the Wii U version because that's the one I got for. I got both Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Wii U back in 2014, but I didn't play any of them up until in 2019. You know, this is where I think, you know, time to. It's been long enough. So yeah, the Wii U version, that's the one I played, as well as the Bayonetta 1. So the story is a clusterfuck. It involves time travel, and also more Umbra Witches shenanigans.
Yeah.
And going yeah.
Following this one, but
also also going to spoilers, going to hell and stuff like that. Not as cool as Doom's Hell, but okay, whatever. But it's interesting because you're not only fighting angels, because that's what's unique about the Bayonetta games. You're not fighting demons, you're fighting angels. But for this one, you're fighting both angels and demons. And I think that also the only difference between them is what collectibles you get from them. But you both use them for as currency for the weapon seller Rodon to buy more weapons than cosmetics. also, if I'm not mistaken, no, both games. Yeah, both games. I think they also introduced new moves like the Umbra time or something like that, where you get like special powerful attacks that you use in this one. Set pieces are also a lot more crazier, a little bit more crazier than Bayonetta, which is not much because you know the Bayonetta one was already crazy and over the top. So 2 kind of cranks them up when it comes to boss fights. Because I've heard many people say every boss fight in Bayonetta 2 feels like the final boss fight of a regular hack and slash game.
I guess that's a good description.
Yeah. Is there any issue you had with the any positives, any highlights about the Bayonetta 2? Stuff like you liked from that game.
Stuff I really liked about the game.
Yeah.
I guess the boss, as we mentioned, that seems to be what sticks out to me the most.
Yeah. The boss is obviously more over the top.
I don't think I meant. Don't think I mentioned this when we were talking about the first game, but one thing I really liked about both these games was the enemy design. I don't know, just really unique enemy design, I thought.
Yeah. When it comes to angels, they're obviously a lot more creative. They're really creative. Like the dragon that's an upside down head with two heads and stuff like that, and the one that looks like a plant or something like that. Like really crazy designs. And the second game is no different. But if there's any, what do you think of the demon designs?
Still good, but not as good, I wouldn't say. Still well designed, but just not as unique.
Yeah, I agree. I they're good, but they're not as great as the angels. The angels are obviously a lot more creative than the demons. But the set pieces also involves going through hell and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought. What do you thought of that the hell set piece?
What was that?
What do you think of what are your thoughts on the hell set piece? Is it as out there as the the Paradiso and stuff like that in the first game?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the set pieces there. It looked good, I thought.
Yeah, the set pieces overall are fun, like the city that you go to and stuff like that. But to me personally, the set of the hell set piece feels a little dull. But that's about it. But yeah, other than that, the city that's next to the mountain, that's fun. I like good looking. The music is also is great. Obviously. What do you prefer more? Fly Me to the Moon or Moon River?
I'd probably say Fly Me to the Moon because I guess I never really. I know they're both covers. I didn't really ever listen to the originals before.
I know, but yeah, I know. I'm talking about the Bayonetta covers.
Yeah. I'm just saying I can't really speak for the originals because I haven't listened to them. So I'm just going based on the Bayonetta covers. I would say I like the first one better, just because I remember it more, I guess.
Oh, me personally, Fly Me to the Moon is good, but I lean a little bit towards Moon River from the second game. But when it comes to,
I mean they're both good.
They're both overall great, catchy and stuff like that. But I lean a little bit towards Moon River. But I still like Fly Me to the Moon. But when it comes to the main combat theme, I prefer the one from the first game. Well, what do you think? Do you like the one from the first game or the second game? I mean, they're both good, but which one do you kind of lean towards?
Yeah, I can't even really remember off the top of my head what the second one was. So.
Yeah.
Again, by default, I would have to go with the first game.
I can't blame you. The second one was good, but not as catchy as the one from the first game. The one from the first game is obviously a lot more catchier and memorable. And what do you think of the? Do you remember any of the gimmick levels that was in the first and the second game? In the second games? Because the first game had like a what's it called? A bike level that some say it sounds a lot that plays a lot like Afterburner. Even though it's on a bike. Now, what do you think of the that bike level from the first game?
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I think most of the gimmick levels, as you said, I thought those were all pretty good in both games.
Even the second one, if I'm not mistaken, was oh yeah. There's also one that's there's also I was talking about the bike level, but I forgot about the rocket level. That's also that's the one that's more like Afterburner.
My only complaint with that one is I remember it kind of drug out a little long, but
I agree. Yeah,
it was still fun.
A little too long. Yeah, I agree. The second one had like a level on where you're on the top of a jet plane. That's supposed to be an homage to Star Fox. That's near the end, I think.
The cool thing is if you use the Fox costume there, it'll actually because I guess I should mention the second game had Nintendo themed costumes.
Yeah.
So if you use the Fox costume, it actually changes it to an R-wing, and there's Star Fox sound effects and everything. So.
Yeah, I think I've seen a little bit of it, and if I'm not mistaken, that what inspired Miyamoto to contact Platinum Games to make Star Fox Zero. Believe it or not.
I thought it was already in development at that point.
I don't think so. No. But after Nintendo, especially Miyamoto, saw that Star Fox homage in Bayonetta 2, he contacted the people at the Platinum Games, said if they can make a Star Fox game. Which it's a shame that
the game didn't turn out very good.
Yeah, people blame it mostly on the control gimmicks, but maybe if the game gets a second chance.
That was my main issue with it.
Yeah, I've tried the demo a little bit, and I've seen impressions. Yeah, if that game had a better control.
After it came out.
Yeah, if it had a better controls, maybe it would have been fared a little better than what we ended up with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If I have any, like I said, we're talking about boss fights and how they over the top and stuff like that, and back to Bayonetta, but personally, which final, without going to heavy spoilers, which final boss fight was more entertaining, an epic, in the Bayonetta games? Was it the first one or the second one? Do you remember any of them?
The first one, easily.
Obviously.
The first one was easily my favorite.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that might be one of my new favorite boss battles in any game in general.
Yeah, obviously. Because, me personally, I don't know if you agree with that or not, because I think the final boss fight for Bayonetta 2, compared to the other boss fights in the game and the previous games, the final boss fight in Bayonetta 2 feels like a bit of a step backwards. A little bit. It feels a little disappointing compared to like the previous boss fights, especially the final boss fight in Bayonetta 2 1. But yeah, other than that, I liked it. I like both games. Obviously, when it comes to gameplay, I lean a little bit towards Bayonetta 2. Yeah, which one do you prefer?
I think overall I would say 2 was better. Just a little more refined. First game is really good though. I would recommend both of them. I wouldn't suggest you skip the first one. Play them both, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. One had its issues, like I said, with the quick time and stuff like that, and also, yeah, sure, it runs smoothly, but when it comes to aesthetics and stuff like that, it's a little bland, drab. Like there's a lot of gray and brown everywhere. Bayonetta 2 is a lot more colorful.
Yeah, I mean, you also have to remember, the first game came out in 2009, so that was kind of a common look for games.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, when it comes to games in like the mid-late 2000s, yeah, there was a lot of games that were like had a lot of gray and brown at the time.
Yeah.
To make it sound, I think what game is it? The first Uncharted game, it came in 2007. Had like a color filter that's called Next Gen, and which pretty much makes the game look all pretty much puts a brown filter on the game's visuals, and it's called Next Gen. It's obviously
why would anyone use that option?
It's to make fun of the whole trend at the time.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, this is.
The whole game like that.
I mean, they had a skin. One of the skins is called Donut Drake, which is basically the main character Nathan Drake, but fat. I mean, this game, yeah, it's not an overly serious game. Obviously, they have a lot of goofs and stuff like that. But enough about the Uncharted. That's that's another topic, another day. But yeah, that's I think that's about it. If there's anything noticeable you want to talk about when it comes to Bayonetta 1 and 2?
I guess something that. Yeah, I guess something that was kind of interesting. You know, even though the plot was a little messy in both games, something I did like story-wise was how the second game, without going into too much detail, spoilers and all that. I like it how it kind of tied into the first game, almost making it sort of like a sequel and a prequel at the same time. I thought that was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah, because I remember.
Other than that, I can't really think of anything else.
Yeah. Because I remember a friend of mine said you should play Bayonetta 2 before Bayonetta 1. I was like, why? But when I played 1 and 2 back to back, it all makes sense. I mean, obviously, I still say play 1 before 2. But yeah, 2, like you mentioned, it's both a sequel, but also has elements of a prequel at the same time. Like I said, both games, especially the second game, has a lot of time traveling elements. And like yeah, this game goes crazy with its themes. But obviously the set pieces, obviously the combat, the set pieces are the gameplay is obviously what you should look forward to when it comes to this game, to these two games, and why they're popular in the first place.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're into hack and slash games, and if you've never played Bayonetta 1 or 2, you're doing yourself a disservice if you've never played any of these two games. Obviously, we've mentioned what systems they're on, so you should be good. Especially if you have a Nintendo system, because Bayonetta 2 is only available on the Wii U and Switch. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the third game whenever it comes out.
Yeah, there's been no news on that since they announced it. I'm kind of wondering what's going on there, but I'm looking forward to it whenever it comes out.
Yeah, it's taken a little while. I mean, what was the teaser for the third game came out? Like 2018?
What year was
The teaser trailer for
it
the
announced?
no, the teaser trailer. Yeah, when they announced. Was it 2018? I think it was 2018.
I think it was 2017. Wait, let me have a look here. 2017. December
Wow.
2017 during the Game Awards.
Oh wow.
Very late 2017.
Oh, yeah. Obviously it's taken a while. I hope it's not in development hell. You know, Platinum should be in good. Should be Platinum is a mostly a competent developer. I mean, they released other games during that time. What was that game that was released on the Switch? The one with this police and the monsters and stuff like that.
Astral Chain?
Astral Chain. Yeah, have you played it?
Yeah, I actually I haven't. I picked it up shortly after finishing Bayonetta 2, though, and I intend to play it. I'm still playing Mad World, though, which I started playing after finishing Bayonetta 2.
Oh yeah, Mad World. Yeah, Mad World's a cool,
Game.
yeah, cool little Wii game. I've played it also in
I liked it,
2019.
but I could do without the motion controls.
Maybe. I didn't have a lot of problem with the Wii game, with the Wii controls, the motion controls. But it's obviously the Platinum wanted to make an M-rated game with waggle controls for the Wii. And you know, I wouldn't mind seeing this game getting released with traditional controls, or maybe like optional. You know, like with when Nintendo did with ARMS, where it's like you can play with the Joy-Con motion controls, but you can also play with traditional controls. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but with Mad World.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, Mad World. Mad World is fun. I guess is anything notable about? Oh yeah, I think we should talk about the bonuses for the. We've touched on them briefly about them, but for the Wii and the Switch version of both Bayonetta 1 and 2, they had extra costumes. Each one it's about a Nintendo character. So I think for both, for the first game they had Peach and Daisy, which is mostly Peach and Daisy, and I think Samus. Yes, Samus. For the first game.
Yeah, and
for the second game, I think they also had those, but also with an extra with the Star Fox one. And they replaced the guns with tiny R wings on Bayonetta's legs. I'm surprised these costumes. I'm surprised these costumes were not amiibo unlockables. And to be honest, I think that's for the best.
yeah,
They're unlocked from Rodon's shop.
In Bayonetta 2, was the chain chomp able to be unlocked just regularly?
I don't remember, but
Just by playing the game?
I think in the second game, but in the first game it wasn't available.
I used a Bowser amiibo that I had, and that unlocked it, so I wasn't sure if there was a way to unlock it just by playing the game, or if you had to use an amiibo.
Really? You unlock it with an amiibo? Was it on the Switch
Well,
version?
that's how I did it.
Was that the Switch version or the Wii U
So I was
version?
wondering if there was a way to switch.
Switch, because I own the Wii U version, but if I ever wanted to replay the series, I might consider getting the Switch version for convenience.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks that
the one, you know, I was just gonna say the one thing is if you get the Switch version, the Bayonetta 1 is a download code. It's not a physical copy.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I think it was on Wii U. I think. Okay.
Yeah. The Wii U, the North American Wii U version, they're both available as discs. So yeah, for the Switch version, Bayonetta 1 is a downloadable code. So it kind of for the North American version, mind you. I'm not sure about if the European version is also as well, but I think the Japanese versions has 2 game cards, separate game cards for the North American for the Japanese Switch version, which really sucks if you're a physical guy kind of guy. Because I mostly get my games physically, and I believe that's you're also on the same boat. Especially when
on console, yeah. When it comes to PC, though, I just mostly buy it.
Yeah, obviously.
Visually.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, so I've already got them on the Wii U, both discs. But for the sake of convenience, I might pick the Switch version, even though the first game is a code only, if I want to replay the games later. Because even though I have the Wii, my Wii U plugged in, I have a habit of sharing footage and images of whenever I play a game nowadays, especially with the Switch and PS4. And the problem, and you're already aware that the capturing images on the Wii U is pretty limited. Like
I don't actually remember there being any capture.
Oh no!
If there was, I never used it.
On the Wii U, you can share one image, one still image. Like you go to the browser on a certain link, and then you can tweet it with a few characters. So yeah, you can share images on Twitter via the Wii U, but it's pretty limited, and also the insert hashtags that you can't delete, stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty primitive. It's pretty primitive on the Wii U, and you can't share videos, obviously. But yeah, like I said, for the sake of convenience, if I ever wanted to return to the Bayonetta games, because I enjoyed them back when I played them back in 2019, but if I want to return to them, I might pick the Switch versions for both games. I know I could pick the PS4 version, which is bundled with the Vanquish, but not sure. But yeah, Vanquish is also another game I might get into one day. I played the PS3 version of it ages ago. I also yeah, go ahead.
It's also a platinum game, right?
Yes, it's also a platinum game. It's a 3D shooter. It's a quick arcadey 3D shooter, a third-person shooter. If I'm not mistaken, it was alright, but the sixth, is this the sixth? Yes, the seventh gen versions, which is the PS3 and 360 versions, ran at 30 FPS, and I believe the new one, the remaster, runs at 60. So if there's any version I'm gonna play that game, I might go with that one. If there's, I wish that, I think I've did that on Twitter a while ago, but you said you wanted recommendations for any platinum games, games that you want to check.
If you got any recommendations, sure.
I've left your recommendation, but do you still have that working 360?
Yep.
Good. Then you should check out Anarchy Reigns. It's a loose sequel of Mad World. I mean, it has some of the characters like Jack Kamen and stuff like that, and other original characters. It's basically a 3D brawler. It had an online mode, but it's not working anymore. But it should be a fun little game to try out. Obviously, I recommend getting it used. Isn't it?
Nope, that one's not on PC.
I don't think so. No. There's also a DLC where you get to play as Bayonetta, but her moveset is limited, obviously, compared to her, base games. But and also she's not you can't play as her in the story mode. In the story mode, you basically play as two characters. Jack Cayman for the this game has like two scenarios like Sonic Adventure 2 where you play as two scenarios, Dark and Hero. For the Dark scenario, you play as Jack Cayman from the Mad World games, and for the Hero side, you play as this original character called something Leon Lionheart, something like that. I forgot what his name is, but yeah, he's an original character who has a slightly different style. There's this story going on about this blue cyborg who went crazy, started committing murders and stuff like that. And Jack from the Mad World games is somewhat involved in investigating this guy and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a fun little 3D brawler. Like it's if I have to say anything, it's kind of like it's probably the closest thing you get of a Mad World with traditional controls. Kind of.
I'll have to check it out.
Rent it for cheap, get it for cheap, and it's worth it checking out. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it's a fun little title to try it out. It also has a banger of a soundtrack. Like it's like if you if you like the one from Mad World, you're gonna love the one from Anarchy Reigns.
All right.
Yeah, it's like this hip hop with some electronica stuff like that. That's obviously it's not exactly as the one from Mad World, but I think if you like the one from Mad World, you're gonna dig the one from Anarchy Reigns. It has vocals and stuff like that. You should check out the soundtrack whenever you want to. It's on YouTube, so.
Which version of the game would you recommend? The PS3 or Xbox 360 version?
I've never heard any issues with any notable issues about either of the versions, so you're good with any of them, either of the two, the 360 or the PS3. I've heard no difference. They both, I think, ran at the 30 FPS. But
Probably just. Just get it on Xbox 360.
Yeah. I think you're good. It's okay if you get it on 360. There's no notable differences between the two. They pretty much ran the same. So.
Alright.
Yeah, we pretty much went into a mini tangent about Platinum games. But that's but that's all right. It's not new though. We had tangents like this before. Yeah. With the previous guests.
Sure.
So,
sure, it happens. Probably
yeah, it happens. So, I guess that's about it for the Bayonetta games. Any final thoughts?
They're both great, and you should play them if you haven't. If you have a Switch, they're both there. If not, if you have a Wii U, they're both there. If not, the first game is on just about every platform, so.
Yeah, and
would recommend playing them if you can.
Yeah, obviously. I agree with you there. Especially for the first game, it's pretty much on everything, like you said. For the second game, yeah, Switch and Wii U. But yeah, obviously, if you like some stylish hack and slash games, obviously can't go wrong with the Bayonetta series. And let's hope, fingers crossed, that we get to hear any news about the third game at the end of this year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, because it's been a little while because after Astral Chain, we haven't seen anything from Platinum. I think there's a game they're gonna release. They're gonna publish by themselves. That's supposed to be a spiritual sequel, a spiritual successor to the what's it called? Beautiful Joe game. It's I think by Hideki Kamiya. We've seen a teaser of it, but what's unique about it?
Okay.
Yeah, but what's unique about it? It's not published. It's published by Platinum themselves, which is interesting because Platinum haven't published any game before. They always develop but never publish.
They published the re-release of the one for 101, but
That's about it. But yeah, that's about it. And it's also kickstarted. Yeah, you're right. For the wonderful 101, it was published by Platinum Games themselves, but it was backed by Kickstarter. But for that beautiful Joe spiritual sequel, I think they're gonna publish it themselves. So let's see how it'll be interesting to see how they're gonna handle publishing a game by themselves. Because like I said, for the previous games, yeah, it's either Nintendo or Sega or Konami or Activision. We'll see how they're gonna fare when it comes to self-publishing. So yeah, definitely. So I guess those were our rambling thoughts about the Bayonetta games. Now, usually there's a section where we answer questions from our audience, but I'm gonna be honest, we didn't get any this time. I mean, I left a community post on YouTube and a tweet on Twitter, but unfortunately we didn't get any this time. So we're gonna have to skip questions this time.
Oh.
I'm afraid. Yeah. So if there's anything good, good comes out of it, at least this episode is a little shorter to listen to. So,
is this the shortest episode you've recorded? Or?
No, the pilot is the shortest one with Doug Sparkish. Like it was, yeah, it was like 45 minutes long. This one is probably gonna be an hour and a half. But then, you know, that's okay. So before ending this episode, I think this is the part where we ask you, where can we find you on the internet?
Like I said, my YouTube channel is aGuyThatLovesPooping, and from there I have my Twitter linked on my channel. You can follow me there. I'll sometimes do little shit posts that I never end up uploading to YouTube, or at least not right away to YouTube. So, but yeah, that's really about it.
Yeah. I'm gonna link both in the description, and also we're gonna put them on screen for anyone who's interested, obviously.
Alright.
So, I guess that's about it for this episode of Backlog Banter. Yeah, so until then, this is SerialK, my guest. And yeah, see you in the next episode whenever we... Yep. And yeah, until next time, bye.